Item 17. Oops. Yeah, item 17. Invocations at city council meetings. Our staff report this evening is by our city attorney, Mr. Jimmy Gutierrez. Jimmy?
Yes, Mayor and members of the council and the public, resolution number 2012-11 is before you tonight for adoption. It contains a policy pertaining to legislative invocations. And the policy is adopted to clarify the manner in which legislative invocations are conducted at meetings of the City Council. The policy is intended to achieve a proper balance between not involving the city in any relationship with a particular religion and the right of individuals to practice their faith or lack of faith. Let me summarize the policy as follows. First of all, it would require the city clerk to contact all churches, congregations, or religious assemblies in the city and invite them to offer invocations if they like. It would then allow the city clerk to place these individuals who want to be invocation speakers on a council agenda on a first-come, first-served basis. It prohibits the city clerk, the city council, or any city staff member to involve themselves in the content of the prayer offered by an invocation speaker. And it also states that no member of the public who attends a council meeting where an invocation is given is required to participate in the invocation. What I'd like to do now is read some of the recitals in the resolution that set forth some of the reasons and some of the policies that this resolution is intended to cover. So I'll just read a few of them because I think they're very instructive. It reads as follows: whereas legislative bodies in America have long maintained a tradition of solemnizing proceedings by allowing for an opening prayer before each meeting for the benefit and blessings of legislative bodies. Whereas since the incorporation of the City of Chino, the City Council has followed a practice of selecting a member of local clergy to provide invocations at City Council meetings. Whereas such prayer before deliberative public bodies has been consistently upheld as constitutional by American courts, including the United States Supreme Court. Whereas the United States Supreme Court further held, to invoke divine guidance on a public body is not, in these circumstances, an establishment of religion or a step towards establishment. It is simply a tolerable acknowledgement of beliefs widely held among the people of this country. Whereas the Supreme Court also famously observed in the case of Zorak versus Clausen, we are a religious people whose institution presupposes a supreme being. Whereas the Supreme Court has determined that the content of such prayer is not of concern to judges where there is no indication that the prayer opportunity is exploited to proselytize or advance anyone or disparage anyone. Whereas the City Council intends and has intended in past practice to adopt a policy that upholds an individual's free exercise rights under the First Amendment. Whereas the Supreme Court has repeatedly clarified that there is a crucial difference between governmental speech endorsing religion, which the Establishment Clause forbids, and private speech endorsing religion, which the Free Speech and Free Exercise Clause protect. Whereas the City Council intends and has intended in past practice to adopt a policy that does not proselytize or advance any faith or show any purposeful presence of one religious view to the exclusion of others. So while there are many recitals, I think these are the ones that clarify and state the reason and the purpose and the background of this particular policy, so as again to achieve that proper balance between not getting involved with religion and yet allowing individuals to exercise their right to religion and free speech in a free manner. So that concludes my report. I would recommend that the Council adopt Resolution 2012-11.
Thank you, Mr. Gutierrez. Prior to council comments or questions, anybody in the audience wishing to